Welcome to the Larson Legacy Studio, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for joining us, myself and my executive producer, Brian Lesan, for this interesting episode of My Day, My Story podcast. I am your host, MC par excellence, Odimdim Okunrin Akpero Jamaye, Omo Babagbobani Iboyinbo himself. If this is your first time on this channel, thanks for checking us out. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. And please share, like, and comment on today's episode titled Kamala Game Changer Harris, You Go Girl. Can we repeat that? Kamala Game Changer Harris, You Go Girl. A lot has happened since our last episode, and we are going to take a deep dive into the crux of the most important event called Kamala Quake. The Republican National Convention has just concluded in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the Republicans just could hardly contain their excitement, rejoicing that Donald J. Trump picked J.D. Vance, his mini-me, as a running mate. Things seem to be going well in the GOP land. The Republicans seem to be singing, Awagba kopureleo ewa bawayo, Awagba kopureleo ewa bawayo. And then the current president, the legendary Okele Joseph, Papa Joe Biden, threw a wrench into the works. He rained on the Republican Party's parade when he came out of the basement of his modest Delaware home to make the following earth-shattering announcement. This is just a summary. It's not the whole announcement because that will take us from now till, the next hour or so. But I want you to get into the beauty of what happened when Papa Joe himself made this announcement. He said, "It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling duties of my term as president for the remainder of my term." And then he concluded by sticking it to DJT and JDV. That's Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance, by saying, "For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me re-elected. Today, Loni Gongo, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala Game Changer Harris to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this." Wow, what a gracious address. Compare that to what happened during the election of 2020, when a different individual, who shall remain nameless, refused to let go of power by hook or by crook. Now, that name crook or crooks is coming again, and we'll leave that alone for another episode. That individual caused a lot of havoc by inciting an insurrection and calling for his second in command to be hanged. In contrast, Papa Joe, the Okele Prezi Oloye himself, is advocating this year for his second in command to rise and shine. So this phenomenon called Kamala Quake was launched. Okay, they play on words here, earthquake, Kamala Quake, you get the idea. A few things happened within hours of President Biden's announcement that he wasn't going to seek re-election, and his unequivocal support and endorsement of his dynamic Vice President, Kamala Game Changer Harris, to carry on the torch of progress. In the past 3.5 years, that's what she has been doing. And Papa Joe supports her. Now, some of the things that happened was that campaign donations started pouring in for the Democrats at such a rate that one writer, one analyst, claimed that Kamala Harris supporters broke the internet. If that is possible, yes, it happened. An unprecedented $80 million was raised within 24 hours of Papa Joe's announcement that Kamala Quake has landed. That makes one wonder, what has been stopping the campaign financial support for Democrats from coming in prior to Papa Joe's announcement that he's relinquishing power to his vice president? Aye Leo. Aye Leo. I guess donors and supporters were singing Majulo Mwenye. Majulo Mwenye to Papa Joe. That song and the drum beat that he was going to seek re-election was what was happening at that time. Dilokun do shepo, ingele shepo popo. Yeah, in my dialect, Ondo dialect, the most popular dialect on the face of the earth, right? You ask an Olokun, somebody who needs healing, to say po, but rather than say po, he responds to you and said, Mele shepo popo. I cannot repeat po popo popo. And that is what happened, because there's been this drumbeat of Papa Joe letting go of power. And he insisted, but at the end of the day, to God's glory, he relinquished power to his second in command, Kamala, game changer, Harris. All right, the rest is history. The collective sigh of relief was palpable all over the democratic landscape, because the fear of a repeat of the kind of abysmal debate performance that Papa Joe had with DJT, Donald J. Trump, was terrifying. We don't ever want to see that again. Kama Rimo, that is what the Yoruba man will say. Remember that Awag Backup relay song, Ewa Bawayo, the same song that the Republicans were singing after the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee? Well, that song died down immediately when they heard the news of Kamala, game changer, Harris, coming to town. That song was replaced with kí a ti a ṣe yí sí Èkìtì kété, Èkìtì kété, ká ti a ṣe yí sí Èkìtì kété. This Kamala Harris lady is hot when it comes to debating the types of Donald J. Trump. And it comes to mind that when she debated the vice president 4 years ago, she was so hot and dynamic. So the Republicans paid their band boys, the ones who were singing Awagbako Pureleo, the ones who were beating their drums to that, they sent them packing and hurriedly drafted the letter that says, in essence, we are backing out of the scheduled second presidential debate. We were armed to the teeth to annihilate Papa Joe, but you guys changed the players. That's not nice, so don't be doing that. Now, to which I personally say, Afefetife atirifuru adie. Wind don't blow, we don't see the nyash of adie, that na foul. Okay, records show that Kamala, game changer Harris, eats the likes of Donald J. Trump for lunch when it comes to debating. A lot of analysts have been saying Kamala Harris is Trump's worst nightmare. And I will agree with that, because a lot has changed since she is the Democratic Democratic candidate for this year's election. But now, let me just put this out there. We have seen this in the past. We have seen how Donald J. Trump works around women. His record is out there to be seen. And this time around, I would just urge the Democrats to let their support be strong all the way till November 5th, which is the day of election. The excitement is palpable now. Let's not relent on that support. Let the campaign volunteers continue to register their interest, and let us continue to support Kamala, the game changer, Harris, for president of this great nation. And now, let me say this. We have seen the likes of Clinton in the past try to do this, and only one party, the Democratic Party, has tried to say we are all equal under God. Let us have a female president. It can be done this time around, and let us put our support out there to see that it happens. I'm not a campaign manager for Kamala Game Changer Harris, but this is a change that we would love to see in our lifetime. Thank you for taking in this episode of My Day, My Story podcast. And right now, I just want to say that World Hero is still one of our supporters. And we are looking at the support that we're getting from Fiesta Reality TV. Thank you all, and we look forward to seeing you in our next episode. From Larson Legacy Studio, this is MC par excellence, Omar Babagbo Bani Ibioyinbo himself saying, ciao.